Alright, looks like they've got the big key from the big key chest, and it looks like we're about to see the Armos fight. Beautiful one cycle, and a bottle with a fairy in it just right there on the path. So that is what saltyphry's relying on with his routing.
Exactly. That is enormous for saltyphry. I mean, not to say that saltyphry can't do Ganon's Tower without dying on 6 hearts and blue mail. I know he can, but you know, you have to play slower typically to not you know, to not take that much damage throughout the Ganon's Tower. With that fairy in a bottle, it's a very different kind of game.
The only issue I can foresee right now is we're going into what looks to be a silverless Ganon fight. So, if those silvers are not in an ideal position to pick up, the one bottle may be used for green potion, but at the same time, it's really hard to tell.
I think they'll be fine because, you know, with Tempered Sword, you only need half of your magic bar. In fact, in NMG, you wouldn't even take the full magic refill sometimes, and you would just have like a little over half your magic bar when you go in a fight. So I think that both runners should be pretty okay on magic for a silverless Ganon fight. But it will mean that they're going to have to remember to pick up that magic refill before doing Moldorm 2.
So Saltyphry's entering his last dungeon here.
Yeah, so this is exactly the lead right now, is basically the whole Thieves Town dungeon. Saltyphry heading off to the 7th Crystal Dungeon as shadyforce is coming back to Thieves Town, which Salty's already done. I think this is a bigger situation than, I mean, just looking back at the big mistakes, right? Like, there was the big mistake of Saltyphry trying to go for that bush crab and just not getting the second tier bush crab drop, which cost him a lot of time in the end. But Shady also missing out on money, and then, I don't know if I would call this a mistake, but a big time difference that's very obvious is Paradox Cave safeties. And of course, Saltyphry skipping a sword. But I actually think that a part of this is routing, and it's so hard to tell, you know, in the spoiler race, how much small routing differences actually made that big of a difference in the end. But things like being able to chain in Eastern and Pod together, Salty getting that cane a little bit earlier, I don't know. I mean, I wonder about how significant the routing differences were between the runners.
I'm also going to say that maybe shadyforce maybe jumped the gun a little too much going for Paradox Cave as well. I think after Moth, he went straight up the mountain to go get his items. I think that's what he did.
Yeah,
I could have done this dungeon before leaving.
Well, I mean, I think, you know, considering that this dungeon has no progressive items in it, and he can come back with flute and mitts, I don't think it's a bad choice to leave it, since they are going to get boots on their route anyway. But I do wonder if shadyforce felt comfortably ahead when he decided to pick up those safeties in Paradox Cave, thinking what I really need is to ensure I stay ahead. But it was just unclear at that point how the difference in routing was going to, and also execution. Like, I don't want to underplay execution here. I haven't been keeping a super close eye. I mean, I think Salty has had slower boss fights, but that's because he's had weaker weapons.
So got maybe about a half a dungeon difference at this point. It looks like maybe 2/3 even of swamp. Special 6 for shadyforce going to be entering Swamp Palace. Definitely about a minute and a half to 2 minutes behind. And Saltyphry is about to collect Crystal 7, which means I'm going to have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, Saltyphry not doing Diver Down in Swamp kind of makes sense. I mean, if you miss Diver Down once, then for the back end of Swamp, then it wasn't even worth trying, really. I think it's once. In any case, yeah. There's other reasons to Diver Down.
Yeah, and also the point I'm going to make here is if Saltyphry is watching this restream and knows he's ahead, he doesn't want to waste time trying and failing Diver Down. He wants to keep that lead as much of it as possible. which makes perfect sense.
That was calling out Salty, saying that the real reason is because he hasn't learned it yet. But apparently, also as of last week, didn't know Icebreaker, which in a spoiler race, like a spoiler tournament, that seems crazy to me because of how significant that could be. Nice. That was very fast Argus kill from saltyphry.
Fire spin. That is another heart container. And ladies and gentlemen, that is a 7th crystal. And so we have a game we like to play, and don't cut me off, Kurt. Just wait a moment. So, folks, we have a game we like to play. We have 22 chests in Ganon's Tower, only one of which can have the big key. But the runners know which chest has the big key. So instead of giving us a number, or give us the specific location you think the big key is in today. Oh boy. And you know, Kurt, you are actually completely blind to the spoiler log, so I guess you can play this one this time.
Yeah, I could guess. I mean, it's never in the Fire Snake room, so I'm gonna guess Fire Snake room just because I want it to be there.
Alright. I'm going to abstain because I actually do know.
I think that's a fun location too. There's a pretty stupid tech where you could bomb jump across that gap, and it actually is faster than hookshotting across if you don't need to open the chest. But I guess if the big key was there, you'd have to open the chest.
Alright, so saltyphry is going to be opening Turtle Rock here, but only just the portal. Attempting diver down. Does get it.
So Shady just a mountain climb and an Argus fight basically away from saltyphry. So not out of the running yet, but saltyphry is gonna have to like not die. It's pretty much the difference.
Saltyphry is the mirror immediately.
Okay. Well, this could just be for a small key first, but it could also be because big key's here.
So no one guessed Hope Room, as far as I can tell. But yeah, that is a lightning fast SGT here.
Oh, I guessed Fire Snake Room.
I know.
There's a Fire Snake in that room, technically, isn't there?
Technically, but it's not the Fire Snake room, is that? So, I think it's safe to start divulging something. So you were talking about the mushroom and the powder as safety options. The runners were not going to get that unless they wanted to visit Turtle Rock.
Oh no.
Mushroom was on the roller. Trinex had the powder. And just because to refresh my memory, was the Quake Medallion? Quake Medallion was actually in the maze in Palace of Darkness that they both passed it on their way to the Cane of Samaria.
Oh snap! You know what was in the Fire Snake room though? I'm looking at the log now.
I am not saying. I was gonna
okay, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. You're right. I could help somebody, although I don't think it would actually help anybody. I think it would actually hurt them at this point.
Well, more so than that, I'm gonna hold off on revealing too much about the seed here. Because our chat does not know where the silver arrows are. And now, because we don't have the silver arrows, I'd like to try to guess where they were.
Oh, there you go.
Chat knows me too well. They already guessed it.
Yeah, it's okay, because shadyforce.
I should have coordinated that with you ahead of time, but you were blind to the spoiler log. I didn't want to say it.
It's all right. I mean, honestly, if Shady decided to, hi Shady, by the way, if Shady decided to go get those silver arrows in Fire Snake Room, I don't think it would actually save him any time on the Ganon fight.
Yeah, because they're quite enough out of the way. It's a shame that no one will be pulling the pedestal, though. Because we had a paradox. The book was on pedestal.
The book. All right. Well, it's kind of a good news then that the mirror wasn't locked behind Desert Palace then.
Yeah. I think it's also safe to divulge a couple of the bottle locations.
Yeah.
So,
sure.
Hyrule Castle map chest had a bottle with a fairy in it. Eastern Palace is the one we picked up, which had the fairy in it as well on the boss. So, Hospital had a bottle in his hut. And then, Hype Cave had a bottle with a fairy in it. There were 3 fairy bottles just for free at this seed to make up for the powder being locked in there.
That is crazy. Shady now just about to enter the gauntlet as Saltyphry is now entering Mini Helma. Oh God, jeez, what was that? Select, Salty, jeez.
Now,
Don't scare me like that.
There is one last thing I should probably mention. Our runners could go get the half magic, but I doubt they're gonna go up to Sanctuary, turn the corner, and bonk that tree. Half magic was in the lumberjack.
Oh my goodness.
Which they have already fought Aghanim, so it would just be a small detour if they absolutely need it. But at this point, with how close they are to finishing the seed, probably not going to go get it.
Yeah, I wonder why, if that was like a mispress and Salty just accidentally hit the select button, or if he was actually pause buffering there because he was relatively low health. And we talked about, him having low health on the Gauntlet Ascent, so he was able to play more quickly and soak more damage and not really worry about it. Of course, you don't want to watch the fairy cutscene, but he does have that backup still. But yeah, looking at this, heading out of Aga 2 with 2.5 hearts for the Ganon fight, just get hit by a fire bat and then you're dead. So nice that he has that fairy in the ball safety.
This is a development here from Salty.
What's up?
He's a little rattled. He missed 2 full cycles of shots. And one of those would look to be a pretty free triple. Does at least pick it up in the cycle 4, but that could have been a 3 cycle. Well, it was cycle 5 even. So that's a little bit of time that Shadyforce could take back and potentially win this, but at this point, it's too big a gap.
Does Shady have enough magic to do this with the lamp? I think he has enough magic. I think he has maybe 1 extra lamp light.
There's some magic decanter. There's a small magic decanter in the pot below, as well as the pot on the walkway towards the exit. No,
I know about the exit one and the other one. I was just curious how close he was. I think he had 1 more lamp shot.
Alright, Saltyphry into phase 2. Oh no, phase 1 Ganon! There's another little bit of time save there. Good positioning though, we'll get at least 1 cycle phase 2. But then comes surviving phase 3. Here comes the fire bats. Nice dodge, gets the hit in. Fire bat, ooh. A second one spawns now. This is really close.
And Shady turning his nose up at that full magic decanter. Does he have a green potion or something?
No, there's no green potions available. And yeah, there's the hint for the silvers in the tower.
Salty playing it cool here, just waiting for an easier triple cycle. Also don't want to risk running up there and then getting hit by those fire bats.
Yes, this is play real safe here. With Blue Mail, one of those fire bats can kill. Nice triple there. And down goes Aga here. But we're in phase 4. There goes Ganon. Saltyphry
Nice.
has done it.
I think that was all triples, also including the first cycle if you count the first spin before you light the torch, which Salty did get. So that was very well done, phase 4.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is GG for Saltyphry with an official time of 1 hour, 14 minutes, 47 seconds. Now that is, of course, counting the study period, so its actual time is 59 minutes and 47 seconds, just barely beating that sub-hour. Racing from Saltyphry. And good racing with shadyforce too. This race could have gone either way.
Yeah.
shadyforce opted to try to play it safe, and that's kind of how an NMG seed goes, really. If you play it too safe, you're going to lose time because you're getting those extra time taking those safeties.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not convinced that this just comes down to Paradox Cave myself. You know, I think that there's a lot of factors, but I mean, that was definitely one of them, that Salty skipped that.
I think the other critical factor here was the money routing.
Well, the money routing, but there's also just the, I think again, like it's more invisible. Like it's so easy to focus on those big things, but there's more invisible aspects at play here of the differences just in the overall routing that was planned, and also in the execution throughout the whole run. Oh no,
that's not good.
Shady can still do this fight, but it's going to take a lot longer.
Here, shadyforce has missed the torch glitch. Reset. I would just leave the fight.
No, he can do it. He can do it. He just has to let the torches go out again to get it back in sync.
So we're talking about the torch glitch here. There's a reason why Saltyphry lit the left torch so quickly, and that's because if the left torch goes out it's put on too fast, before the right torch goes out during the disaster technique, which is phase 4 here, the right torch will never go out. But Shady missed the window, so now has to deal with 2 torches at the same time. And getting a 2-frame window during this is actually fairly difficult.
Yeah, I think that for him to have been able to finish that fight at the point where I said I think he can still do it, I think he would have to be getting doubles, there's a double, which is very difficult to do with the lamp. So I think this is his last lighting. Yeah, now he's out of magic.
Yep, that's it. And I can confirm that shadyforce has forfeited from the race at this point in time. Oh no, there's the death that confirms it, yeah. But yeah, good effort from shadyforce. Oh, has the fairy.
That's salt in the wound, trying to die with dignity and can't even do that.
Oh man. Saltyphry has now joined us in the commentary booth. GG's and congratulations is on your win here. 5-2 is your final record for the league.
Thank you.
And a great race overall.
Well, once I got going, it was a great race. The start was definitely a little iffy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Right off the bat there, like even from the very start, from the moment I started the race, and I went to Link's house accidentally, that wasn't correct, and I also I turned off my timer accidentally. My instinct is just to start my timer when the race starts, quote unquote, but obviously I don't have to do that in this one, so I just did that time to time in these races to me.
And we are also now joined by shadyforce. A good effort from you as well. Going to be going 4-3, which unfortunately means you are not eligible to go into the brackets, I believe. But GG's to you all the same. Great racing overall from both of you. This is pretty much for lack of a better way to describe this, is kind of what a textbook energy race was, in which someone went for more safety, someone didn't. But there were still some more nuances beyond that.
I didn't mean to go for so many safeties. It was actually like they just kept landing on me, and I had no idea I was going to end up. I don't
Yeah, I know. Like I kind of saw that as well, and
know
I started skipping stuff eventually. Like I figured there was kind of no reason to go check Paradox Cave to get 2 more hearts and armor when I'm going to end up at 7 or 8 hearts. Like, and I ran right by the heart that was in the waterfall chest of Swamp as well for that reason. By that point in time, I was like, well, why the hell do I even need this heart?
Yeah, I ran past that as well, but the problem was that Argus also dropped a heart, and that was my 11th, and like the boss just kept dropping me hearts. I'm like, well, I didn't check early enough how many hearts I was going to end up with, so a lot of early game hearts I just shouldn't have picked up, I guess.
So yeah, the early game for both of you was kind of rocky in 2 different places. Saltyphry, you of course mentioned that you had trouble getting with the opening of your seed as well as getting the bombs from the rupee crab, which was
So
kind
I've never actually tried to do that before, and apparently that's the dumbest idea I could have possibly come up with. Like seeing like that the prize, like the final prize, is a bomb, is apparently like the completely useless information, because I didn't realize getting to that was going to be so awkward and so difficult. I've never actually tried that before, so apparently that's something I should have looked into prior to this.
Yeah, I
I
believe.
tried once. It's really annoying. It's really hard.
Yeah, you have to get like
So
5 or 6 of the normal pickups first,
It
and because
happened
they were
to me-
hard, they could fly completely wildly. So
Yeah, it's happened to me a few times just in random races that I've done, so I figured, all right, how hard can it be, right? But no, apparently not. So yeah, definitely don't do that again.
yeah, and of course the other thing, which is one of the points that I wanted to make as well, is the mid game or the early / mid game of this. At least for you, Saltyphry, you had the money for Kiki right away after getting finishing Aga. Shady, you did not. Was that just a oversight in your routing, or?
Kind of. When I first threw my route together, I was going to do Houlihan because I didn't really see any good way of getting the money and also getting the bombs. So my early plan was going to be Houlihan, go buy bombs, go to Mini Moldorm, and then I changed my mind late in the game, and I thought, no, actually, I'm just going to go to the village first, get my sword for Mini Moldorms, and there's 3 bombs sitting there in the well. I'll just grab those, and then I totally forgot that I didn't have pod money anymore if I'm not Houlihaning, and I should have opened a lot of those big 20 chests on the way.
That's kind of funny. I basically did the exact same thing, except like for my bomb, I was kind of going for that one down at the crab, because like originally I had planned on doing that, and then I kind of was trying to figure, like, I had a couple minutes left at the very end there, so I'm trying to like optimize my starting route. Inevitably, when I do that, worse stuff ends up happening, like what happened in this seed. If I just stuck to my original plan, I would have done Houlihan, I would have gone and bought bombs, and everything would have worked out nice. And I actually got really lucky. I don't know, like I was basically farming rupees the whole way up Aga's Tower. Like I realized, like all of a sudden, like, oh, I'm not going to have 110 rupees for pods. Like I started killing random enemies. I got a couple lucky 20 drops there. I was looking stuff up. I'm like, oh, there's a 20 in Link's house. We got to pick that up. I was supposed to pick up 20 in Mini Moldorm that I completely forgot about as well. So that was just kind of me trying to scrap stuff together, and I just got really lucky and just kind of worked out that I picked up my last 20 on the way to pod, actually.
Yeah, I went back to the Kakariko to farm to get the chest I had missed, and activate my flute at the same time, so to kind of mini justify it to myself. And then I'm going to pod and I kill an enemy and he just drops 20, and I'm like, oh damn it.
I needed like 8 or 9 rupees at that point in time, so I'm just like, hell, I'm just gonna start killing everything in my path, and hopefully something will drop some rupees. And sure enough, I got my drop.
So it's been kind of a meme in the tournament, shadyforce, that you got some particularly unlucky matchups in terms of like strength of matchups. Wasn't it like, who was week 1 again for you? Who's round 1?
Round 1 was Faraimi.
Round 1 was Faraimi, and then round 2 was like Ninbon or something, right?
No, Matt 79.
Oh, Matt. Okay, yeah, Matt.
Ninbon was later on.
And it's like, are you joking? And then even after that, like round 3 and 4, you had some like strong matchups, and didn't you? I remember that.
Ninban was week 4. Yeah.
Yeah, Ninban was week 4. And it's like, are you joking? Come on, let's cut Shady a break.
It's fine. I mean, I think I did all right. I did manage to get 4 wins against this field, so I'm pretty happy. And it just wasn't going to be my day today against Salty. But really, like drawing the first 2 opponents, the kind of tournament's lost for me by then, because I can't get a good tiebreaker with 2 losses at the start. And it's just the way it goes. Small margins, you know. I lost by 5 seconds to Matt in that second race, and that's it. That's like kind of my tournament over, and I'm kind of playing for pride from then on.
Yeah, I think you actually had a good shot, Shady. If you know, with the tiebreaker, the way I think about it is like the two opponents that you lose to is what is their schedule strength. Because if you win against opponents, you know, I don't know, it's like who did you lose to and how well did they do? And with with Furame and Matt, you know, I think you were still in the running. I don't know. I haven't actually looked at the scores, so maybe not in the scores, just in my heart. But I don't know. But anyway, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I looked into it. It was pretty slim chance, really. Like very, very small chance, like 1%, even if I won this race. So it's just the way it goes. I'm just sad there wasn't going to be a big hype tiebreaker race between all the 5-2s. That would have been so cool.
I know, right?
Next season we'll do that.
Yeah, next season.
We'll get on to Cynic. We'll make him doing that.
Yeah.
Now I want to transition the scoring over to you now, saltyphry, because now you are in 5-2, and I'm not 100% sure if you are actually in contention for that tiebreaker or not.
Very unlikely at this point in time. I think there's probably a extremely small chance I'm going to end up qualifying at this point in time. My opponents were simply not up to snuff. Cough, cough. Current. Just coach. Just coach.
I feel, you know, I lost a few of those races by like seconds. I'm sure. I don't know if you saw my race last week, saltyphry, but I lost in large part because I got stuck on a block in pre-Moldorm 2 room. So I'm sorry that happened. I feel really bad.
Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty rough. But no, I'm just kidding anyway.
I failed you. I'll take it.
Well, GG's to both of you. The seed was, like I said, pretty straightforward in terms of it. Bit of a rough one considering it was an Earth Forced Aghanim. Actually, that's something I want to ask about. Is the Aghanim and the hammer and the gloves for both of you? How did you guys think about that?
It was pretty awkward. It took me a while to realize which my first glove was going to be, because I kept thinking I'll go to the mountain and I'll get the first glove there, and then wait, no, hang on a sec, that doesn't work. I can't get to Spiral Cave at all, like without the other glove as well. So it was just a bit of a weird seed the way both gloves kind of the Skullwoods has to be your first glove. And therefore, you have to beat Aga. Therefore, you have to go to Paw to get the hookshot to get to Skullwoods, and then the hammer is locked by both gloves. So it was just really strange.
I guess technically you could have gotten that glove before getting on the mountain before going to Skullwoods, but what was the point at that point in time? Because you kind of wanted the second one. You could have just gotten the hookshot and then fluted up there. You would have had access, but at the same time, why just go to get the glove? Because it doesn't really do much. It would have saved me a little time in Thieves Town, because you run into that situation where, oh yeah, I can't lift up to that one block in there because I don't have a power glove. I mean, how often do you actually get out in there without the power glove?
Yeah, I know, right? But GG's to you all the same, folks. Chat, I have nothing more to ask them, but make sure to follow these two. They put on an excellent race for us today. And of course, make sure to follow SpeedGaming 2 through 6 so you don't miss any racing action, not just the Spoiler Log Tournament here. Coming up for you later today, let's just take a look at the schedule here. We have a few more matches on the schedule for today. We have actually a couple more matches on the schedule for today. I'm not sure if Kurt wants me to mention these or not, though, because we don't currently have a restream for them at this time.
Yeah, we're not sure what's going to be restreamed today. There are a few more potentials, but actually, there's only one race that we could potentially restream today. That would be Data Gamers versus Yoinker's Wife. Currently no signups, but if there aren't any signups, you can always go to those folks' channels and watch them race, and they, it's always exciting when people come and watch the race and do a multi-twitch or whatever. But yeah, the rest of this week, this is the final week of the Swiss stage of the tournament, so everybody's trying to get their last wins in, try to see if they can make it onto the next stage or maybe just cement their place. So yeah, this is going to be a pretty hype week, and then we're going to be going to a very quick bracket format. So things are going to get super exciting starting next week as well.
So make sure to also follow my co-commentator Kern here, who is also one of the admins of the tournament and is also a racer in the tournament. I believe you have a match later this week, in fact, if I'm reading the schedule right.
Yep, I have my own final match.
And of course, make sure to also follow Sports Jeff, who was tracking tonight, keeping those items up to date for you down there. And you can go ahead and give me a follow as well. Well, from all of us here at the Spoiler Log Tournament, I have been Wolfling0370, and we shall see you all next time, and thank you for watching. Have a good night, everyone.
Yeah.